We're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. What the fuck we say? I figure it'll pop on. I got the Hauck man over here chilling. I'm got Joker in the background doing a big style. Very cool indeed. We're gathering. We have the glorious Dead of Winter Horror Fest going at that tomorrow, noon, Worcester, Massachusetts, Mechanics Hall. Fantastic. Have a ball. Saturday Night Live with Alex Hauck. He'll be down. I think he's taking a shit or something like that. He disappeared up into the nether void of the realm. I see one person watching before the billions come in. Do you have any comments? No, he's gone. He's gone with the wind. All right. Let me see here. Indeed. Ken's your dog chilling. Talking to the dog.
Dog.
It's the dog.
He's taking my seat. Damn bitch.
Yeah, he popped on. Hey! Look who it is.
I have to be all pretty now.
How could you not be pretty? Boombasticast is in the building, live chatting it up. Very intense stuff.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? Oh, yeah? Let me see if I can pull over something interesting. Here we go. Believe that.
Ooh, that's a
Classic. That's good when the baby starts leaving you alone, right? Yes.
Carnival of Souls is a classic.
Carnival of Souls is classic. That's it, huh?
Movie, and the end of it always gets me. I guess this is always a thing that I love. Solaris. I'm a great admirer of the
remake with the George
guy
Clooney
who wrote the book it's
remake,
based on, Stanislaw
which I believe has
science fiction writer.
ICP
I've been wanting to see
chicken
this movie
hunting
because I'd heard it existed.
in the Clooney
In
version.
the early
They're not.
90s, I found a copy of it in a video store out in Seattle.
Paul's a little
and, it bored the
beside
hell out of me.
himself a little bit, you know?
I didn't know what the hell I was watching, and it blew my mind. There's like a 10-minute sequence of just driving in this movie through the window.
Oh, Jeremiah.
Over the years, though, I revisited it and came to love it very much.
You gotta love
all
it.
of his movies, but I like this one in particular, and there's fantastic sort of production design of
What a
kind of
nice
crappy
little
spaceship.
bucket list item it is.
I often wonder if
Criterion
how I
Closet.
feel about the very final
and,
shot of
pick
this
up some
movie,
flicks.
which I won't give
Maybe
away.
one
but
of
I
these days
sometimes
we'll
feel
be
like
there.
I'm down. You familiar with
maybe
this
maybe it wasn't
like the
necessary.
segment
The final shot.
Criterion does where they have the
I've seen like one of them before.
It's way up there. Watch this. There's a little action sequence in the closet for us. I love these movies. I'm a big fan of these Val Lewton horror movies.
Cat People.
Cat
Classic.
People.
Cat People.
I got that in the other room.
You know what's my favorite Five Nights?
He was the producer. This guy Val Lewton made this series of movies.
I do know that one. That's good.
I don't know, 6 of them, 7 of them, something like that. Boris Karloff was in some of them. But I love these movies because they're very low budget, and they're this amazing example of
Paul?
doing all this
Like
extraordinary
budget,
stuff
huh?
with absolutely nothing and creating these
Co-starred with
incredibly
Alex Hauck
scary
in Boom
effects.
Bastard Adventure.
They all have these
That would be
gripping,
awesome. Heck,
great,
even
almost
just
kind of
sitting down and
iconic
having a
moments. All these
conversation.
movies.
You got a
that he
favorite
produced,
Criterion
sort of
collection off
classic
the top of your
horror
head?
moments, and they're strange too.
I
They're
had
all sort
another
of
one
on
in mind
these
for you.
sets. It all feels very sort of
I'm sure
unreal
there's
and
plenty of
dreamlike.
outcasts.
These movies, this one in particular.
They put our
It's really,
single lace on
really
Criterion. Yeah,
Oh, well, Arsenal late.
Seconds go.
last year.
Ah,
I did it last year. but
Outcasts is not a good one.
this
There was a ghost
is
in the
also one
screen
of my
over there.
favorite movies. I'm a
Second,
big fan
John
of
Frankenheimer's
movies, Manchurian Candidate and 7 Days in May and The Train. And this movie, I remember seeing the first time I ever saw it. I might have been chemically altered when I saw this movie. So I can't
We're all
really
chemically
speak
altered
to
when we
whether I
watch
saw it,
films.
really as one should be seeing it, but it made the hugest impression on me. But one of the things I really love about this movie is it's one of the greatest examples of what a terrific actor can do in a small, tiny supporting part. There's an actor named Murray Hamilton in it who played the mayor in Jaws. And he appears in the end of this movie for 2 minutes, maybe, not even, and he barely speaks. And it's one of my favorite performances in any movie. He's incredible in this movie, and it's such a fine example of what a great actor can do in a tiny part.
Great actor like Alex Zern.
This is the movie that I think,
Yo, what up, Jake?
for better or worse,
How's it
kind
going,
of
Jake?
really pushed me over the edge and made me go, I want to be an actor. Everything about it, it's such a, this is kind of a perfect movie, actually. And I saw it recently again. I hadn't seen it in ages. And one of the things that surprised me about it, maybe I've only seen it a few times since I first saw it. One of the things that surprised me when I thought, it actually has a real story to it. I'd never paid attention to the fact that it has this kind of very great, simple kind of noir story to it. I'd never paid that much attention to the story because I get so caught up in all the wonderful detail and the wonderful acting in it. And it's got probably if you held a gun to my head and said, what's your favorite performance in any movie? I would say Dennis Hopper as Frank Booth in this movie. He achieved something just off the charts amazing. But I mean, everybody's great. And Kyle MacLachlan's great. I keep talking a lot about the acting in movies, and acting's not the only thing that floats a movie along, but this is like.
Is that Blue Velvet? It is Blue Velvet.
This is interesting.
Probably the best of the David Lynch films.
This woman, Larissa Shepitko.
I'm not hip to this one.
I've only seen this movie Wings, but Wings is an amazing movie. It's a beautiful movie, and there's a fantastic actress in it. Plays a kind of Soviet hero of the sort of Air Force, Soviet Air Force.
Yeah.
And so her life is kind of dreary.
How you doing, Bo?
This sort of fraught relationship.
How you doing, Bo?
It's one of these things I don't even understand how she got this made in the Soviet Union, because it seems sort of critical in some ways about. But there's incredible sort of poetry. It's always great way she uses the flying in it and stuff to talk about this woman's interior life.
Yeah.
It's really a beautiful movie.
I'm
I've
almost
never
in the
seen
mood
the
to
other
watch some
movie she
Fancy
made.
Criterion now.
So I guess now's my time.
Now is your
Now's
time.
my opportunity. This is ridiculous. This is too many. This is too many.
No, there's never too many movies.
Criterion people to allow me in here to indulge myself. So thanks a lot.
Yo, that's what's good.
Yeah.
That's not that much.
Well, I mean,
I've seen people go nuts in there.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing is that it's great when you're able to go and delve into all the different types of films. And also, it's great seeing what actors that we appreciate, what they are.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Giamatti's legendary status, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, another cool thing I found out about Paul Giamatti is that he has a podcast right now, and
oh yeah,
he's on it with another guy, and he's really into the whole like cryptid, Sasquatch, this kind of thing.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
He is in the Criterion Closet. We got Joel Edgerton, Jason Schwartzman, who's in a bunch of Criterion flicks. Yeah, interesting. I'm a little curious of what Robert fucking Corman, your boy. Good flick. Yeah.
Called The Big Gun. The Big Gun was about a famous gunfighter whose reputation precedes him wherever he goes. I wrote a number of notes on it,
much respect
and I
for
suggested
Corman over
changing
here.
the title.
I know you didn't
The Big Gun to the Gunfighter. I submitted this to the story editor, who recommended it to one of the producers at Fox. He produced the film,
at home,
and the film starring Gregory Peck as the gunfighter was a giant success. The story editor,
one of the king of indies over here,
full credit
he is the king
for all the notes.
You got Corman,
I wrote.
you got Kaufman,
I said,
you got Bell's.
That's it for my career at 20th Century Fox. I'm out of here.
Before
so
them,
I applied to Oxford, was accepted, and went to Oxford on the GI Bill.
What he did,
so
what
I
he was
got
famous
something
for?
out of the gunfighter.
Why? What do you do there?
Here is Fellini's picture, Amarcord. This is one of the foreign films we distributed.
Amarcord's not my favorite Fellini film.
And
Fellini, for me at least, I love Fellini
just
things. Like I've seen 8.5 and was blown
the trailer
away.
For
completely blown away.
Exploitation film.
I went deeper into his catalog.
Kind of
it's not
film.
that I don't appreciate
How should we
just
build a trailer? I said, with the same style
the beginning
of
8.5.
Exploitation
Facebook post.
They did it.
Falling down, brother. Falling
down.
Was the biggest
I've seen Falling Down way
earlier. Fellini
then when I
ever
watched
had
finally,
in
I was
his
like,
career.
oh shit! When I realized that was
here is the Russian film
from
of war and peace. This is one of the greatest film adaptations of a novel, in my opinion, ever made.
I know Jake Hudson loves that movie.
Photograph those battle scenes going on into the distance.
It's interesting to see
in long shots,
what
and then cutting
I'm always
individual
interested to see what
shots
people that we
as
appreciate sit down and
took
watch on
in the
TV
concept
screens.
of
Yeah.
the grandeur
Also, it's an
of the
opening
forthcoming
to see where
battle
they get some
in
of
the
their
beginning of the battle,
Yeah,
because
and
I
then
mean,
brought you in to the
I'm like
terror of the
another
real battle.
famous director
is
other than Matthew
brilliant.
Fisher.
This is
A little
Raging
guy you
Bull,
might know,
directed by Marty
Tarantino.
Scorsese.
One of his famous
Marty
quotes
actually
is, "I didn't go to
directed
movie
his
school. I
first
went to see
feature
movies."
Pretty
film
much. That's
for
the
me.
best way to
It
do it.
was called
No,
Boxcar Bertha.
Yeah,
I had previously
I got that VHS.
produced and directed a
I
film
gotta
called
go
Bloody
get my,
Mama. The picture
I don't
was
have
a
fucking
major
Raging Bull on
success
Blu-ray.
for
I do
American
actually have it on, not
International.
Criterion Blu-ray,
A
regular.
little later, they wanted a sequel to Bloody Mama, and they wanted me
Bloody
to
Mama, that's
produce
like
and direct it. By that
Actually,
time,
I
I
have
had
that
my own
DVD at
company,
home.
and I said, I'll
I
produce
ended
it,
up getting
but
it
I
out
don't
of
want to direct
accident.
for
I
another
ordered
company,
something and they gave
but
me
I'll
that
pick
instead.
a new director. And I picked Marty.
Marty.
They were somewhat
Marty
dubious.
Scorsese, quite
I said,
possibly
I don't care.
the greatest
A
living
good director can direct anything.
That's with your
more
boy
or less
QT.
true.
I think
Anyway, I convinced them to let Marty
influences
direct it. And Boxcar Bertha became a solid success, both critically and commercially, and it started Marty's career. And Raging Bull is a great example of the way he was able to combine violence and at the same time explore the life of Jake LaMotta, who was the Raging Bull. Thank
Death
you.
Race 2000. Maybe Death Race 2000 might be my favorite.
Yeah.
Corman. He's got a lot of fun flicks. Udo. We can go Udo Kier. I know what his picks are. I bet they'd be wild.
We gotta get him on the Boombastic Cast.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, wow, wow.
Wow, wow, wow. Udo's very fantastic. Oh, what's he going to Laserdisc? Man.
Let me tell you the story.
Yeah,
I was in an airplane from Rome to Munich, and there was a man sitting next to me. And, in planes you talk, and he said, "What do you do for a living?" And I say, "I'm an actor." And I had already a picture.
At what point in an actor's career do they stop?
And he said,
not be ashamed anymore of saying,
"Give me your number." Took out his passport, wrote my number, and I said, "Who are you?" He said, "My name is Paul Morrissey, and I work for Andy Warhol." And I remembered at the beginning it was Trash Flash, very artistic movies with Joe D'Alexandro. And
Frankenstein.
Okay, nice meeting you. So then a couple of weeks later, I got a call. "Hey, it's Paul. You remember the man in the plane? I'm doing for Carlo Ponti, the husband of Sophia Loren. I'm doing Frankenstein."
That's what it was, yeah.
In 3D. And I have a little role for you. And I said, "Wow, thank you. Great."
If Udo's still living in the Laserdisc world, I got to give him huge kudos for that. That's something else.
Anyway,
I never got into Laserdisc.
And
I have a few betas
became
and
Dr. Frankenstein.
I have to say,
and at the end of the film, we shot the film for $300,000 in 3 weeks in 3D. And at the end of the film,
really heavily
get into Fellini was shooting next door,
that was right
and in the
around
cantina,
but I
where
heavily
all
started
these
getting into buying movies.
Wonderful figures.
Not just watching.
And I
buying
was sitting there having a glass of wine, and I thought, well, Andy Warhol said,
like a
everybody is perfect for 15 minutes.
Well, you are.
But that was,
15 minutes.
that was the whole deal. Just go find
So I was a little
all the filmmakers.
And then Paul Morrissey came in. And
buy their whole
well, I guess we have a German Dracula. And I said, "Who?"
Sam Raimi, and
he said, "You."
and just
but you have
spend
to
that week
lose
dissecting and
a lot of weight in 1 week. I said, no problem.
Yeah,
So I
actually,
had
it was
only salad
talking about
leaves and
Sangre
water.
recently.
We
were.
shot the first
And
day
I personally
of
have to say,
Dracula.
hands down, best Sam Raimi movie in my opinion is Doctor.
And I was so weak.
And I know it's
that I had to see the
underrated
movie.
compared to.
And there were famous lines.
But I really think Doctor.
I need the blood of a virgin. The blood of these whores are killing me. So that was that. So let's see what else we find.
I mean, me personally, I'm open to all type of blood.
Another story.
He got a Blu-ray.
Another story.
My own Idaho, I think.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Berlin.
River Phoenix, Keanu Reeves, Udo Kier's in there.
Is he in there?
Came to me and
he's dancing around with a.
I was there to see movies.
Yeah. He
dances around with my name is Gus von Sant. I have a little movie here, Mala Noche. I made for $20,000. But my next movie, my own private Idaho,
he's got like
I'm preparing now, and I would like that you play. And I thought, well, directors are always very lonely at festivals, but he wasn't lonely.
He also talked
about it, and we start writing letters to each other. And then he got me the work permit. I became member of the union. And I went to Portland to shoot my first film in America. Hercules Frankenstein were American production, but not in America, in Rome. So I made the movie,
which was crazy.
And then I liked America, and River Phoenix was amazing,
of course,
and Keanu Reeves. And I came back for the premiere.
That's before everybody loved Keanu Reeves. That's when Keanu Reeves was an annoying guy.
And she said, why don't you stay in America? I said, no. So after a few glasses of wine, I said, it's not a bad idea. So now I'm 30 years.
Well, he don't want to be safe.
Private. I know, very important for me. I'm a lucky man.
Yeah.
I'm a really lucky man.
You're a good dude, it sounds like.
I never learned how to act. I mean, I learned from great actors, but I never went to acting school. And in Germany, of course, I was very lucky that I worked with Fassbinder, who was one of the directors who showed Germany how it really was after the war. So it wasn't kind of craziness. And I went to Mannheim, it's an intellectual film festival in Germany, and I had a little short film called Last Trip to Harrisburg, and it was the opening night film with a film of a new young director, Lars von Trier, called Epidemic. And when I saw, he wasn't there. There was a lot of directors sitting in one row.
That's one of Lars's better films. Lars is known for
Element of Crime.
Weird fucking movies.
I couldn't get up my seat. And I said to the
directors
who were invited,
well, actually, it's funny if you look at it.
Home because whoever made that film
kind of like,
is going to win.
Like
I expected somebody like
Fassbinder,
dressed in black, scratching himself,
we love
beating
you,
the back,
and all
the
that.
eyes are closed. And there comes this student-looking young director, and we talked. We had a beer, we talked, and we exchanged a telephone number. And again, lucky man, a couple of weeks later, I got a call. Hey, it's Lars.
You mean 1950?
I'm doing Medea from Carl Theodor Dreyer, and I want you to play the husband of Medea, King Jason. But there is a problem. I said, what is the problem? He said, you don't look like a Viking. Don't wash your hair for 3 weeks. Don't shave and come to Denmark because I have to sell you as the king of the Vikings.
Pretty solid.
So I went very smelly
for a while.
And strange.
And then he went out, he did a Kanye West. He went to the film festival. Montreal did it. And he said that
friends.
He
and his wife got a baby.
He idolized Hitler or something crazy like that. Or like
of the baby.
He related. Well, he said something. I think he was drinking.
Now we worked together.
He said something that like
years,
fucked him over.
But I just wanted not
the envelope. That's
tell you too many stories.
You know
but
I
told you
it's all about kind of
important.
Not pushing,
pushing
buttons.
Other directors,
I mean, the best directors are the ones that
him. I love him. I did the Isabella Rossellini movie. Yeah, I do that the next time when I'm in New York. I come back I see you.
I see you too.
He doesn't have a lot of room to bring.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Lars von Trier, your best friend. A streaming. Yeah, I was going to say those things streaming. He definitely wasn't picking up those.
So I did one of these.
Those laser discs
like 5 years ago. Hereditary.
Hey, we got Larry Oster.
You guys never used it because I guess I was yelling.
It now.
Criterion wanted to release it now to celebrate the release of Dungeons and Dragons. But I insisted that they not use
I
the old
haven't seen
one.
his newest one.
Bo,
because there was like too much bright-eyed exuberance. Anyway, I'm gonna do it again. But I'm already regretting it because it's like there's pressure.
He just produced something with like about gorillas. It's like 2001.
Well, I chose
looks like, but it's just
this film,
gorilla part.
Closely Watched Trains, for this program I'm doing at Lincoln Center for Beau is Afraid. This and Beau have in common that they are about a man who really needs to come. Michael Haneke was very, very important to me growing up, especially piano teacher and cachet. But his first films, they just call it the trilogy here, but I think he called it in one interview the Emotional Glaciation Trilogy, and I think he regretted saying that. So that's probably why it doesn't say it here. Haneke is always talking about Bresson being his favorite filmmaker and like the only filmmaker he really cares about. And you really see that in these films, which are very Bressonian. Like they're kind of like, you know, the actors are basically functioning as models. The Seventh Continent is
story of my life.
One of the most perfect films ever made and very upsetting. Benny's Video is a great film about Nazi youth, and the 71 Fragments of a Chronology of Chance is a great kind of like trial run for what he ended up doing with Code Unknown. Daisies, one of the many incredible Czech films that came out in the 60s. Amazing ending. Makes you sick. There's an argument to be made that Cure by Kiyoshi Kurosawa is the greatest movie ever made. Well, Mr. Klein by Joseph Losey is really brilliant. One of the great Holocaust films. And I think the film that gets the closest to Kafka, just as a nightmare of persecution. It's really like untoppable. The Coker trilogy is incredible. The second film here, And Life Goes On, is really like beyond the beyond, just so beautiful and touching. And like what I mean, you know, he just takes children very seriously, especially in Where's the Friend's House, but also in Life Goes On. And Through the Olive Trees is a great movie about the social politics of
if they do
like,
this
being on a movie set. My friend Dan recommended this to me after his friend recommended it to him. La Poisson by Sacha Guitry, which has the best opening credit sequence of all time. It's a Sacha Guitry going up to all of his going up to every member of the cast and the crew and introducing them and telling them what not only how much he loves them but why he loves them. And it's great. It's really special. The films of Carol Zeman are amazing, and there's an animated sequence in Beau is Afraid that nods to Invention for Destruction, which is...
I'm very curious to see if Beau is Afraid if it's any good, because those first two movies he came out with...
The New World, I can't find the
way,
words, but this movie is like immense to me. And like I never use the word transcendent.
I'm curious to see if we jumped the shark with it.
I mean, from what I
watching
heard,
this film was a transcendent experience. Secret Sunshine by Lee Chang-dong, who is, I think, one of the great filmmakers working now. I think Burning might be my favorite film of the last decade. And this film is so special and strange. I did not know how to take it when I first watched it. It's about a woman who just like cannot stop suffering. And she moves to her dead husband's hometown with her son. And very early on, her son is abducted and then killed. I don't think I'm giving anything away because it happens so early on into the film.
Oh.
And there's a scene near the middle of the film. It might be a little bit later than that, when she goes to visit her son's abductor in prison. And that is where the film becomes something so fascinating and so strange that it's really never left me. Woman in the Dunes by Hiroshi Teshigahara. I revisited this during
reminding me of
lockdown in 2020, and it really struck me as the perfect.
Oh, it's just that
quarantine movie.
He's constantly
he's diving deep
just
into
one of the great films about men and women. He stopped making films to become like a florist. Not enough people talk about Che, which is
that's a good one.
A masterpiece, and
Benicio
I think
del Toro.
Steven Soderbergh's best film. I don't know why it didn't get
a few times.
More attention, because it really is like, I mean, just it's I don't know how he made it, and I think it's why he
interesting character
kind of retired. Is I think it was so disappointing how little attention the film got. But and I get it.
I remember when that came
if
out.
I made Che and nobody
I think
paid
that
attention,
was released to Criterion
would
for distribution when it came out.
just say fuck you and stop. Speaking of
Fuck yeah.
Unconventional biopics that don't fall into the typical traps, Mishima by Paul Schrader. It's almost definitely the best film he ever
Paul
made.
Schrader is a good.
Just what he's doing with artifice here, what he's doing with structure.
I've never seen it.
It's really
I feel like it would be
brilliant. And when I first saw it, it was like shocking. Bigger Than Life, one of James Mason's best performances. It's very funny. It's very
Dude
crazy.
over here got me this.
A great kind of like alarmist
7 years ago.
pharmaceutical melodrama.
Very good flick.
Where
I've known this
by
guy more
the
than
end,
7
he's
years.
Right, that's what it called. You deserve a trip into the closet.
he's convinced that he's Abraham and he's gonna
I keep
kill his
trying to
son.
escape, but he keeps pulling me back.
It's great. Brand Upon the Brain
It's a really good
by Guy Madden.
It's
When I was in
old, but
film
I
school,
still like it. There's something about I really have to click with an older
I
flick.
was just like ripping him off
That
nonstop.
one I did too.
His
I
whole
think
thing
it's
is that
really-
he makes these films that feel like these lost films from like the silent era or like early sound days. This film I saw in theaters. It had this this roadshow release where they took it around the country, I think, with this gang of Foley artists and a live orchestra and different people narrating. And I saw it at the American Cinematheque, the Egyptian Theater in LA, with Udo Kier narrating.
Hey,
Maybe the best experience I've ever had in a movie theater. I'm not going to take it because I already own it, but I'm going to hold it up for you.
Talk about
Walkabout. Walkabout has the best
Rogue.
opening like sequence. Like it's a prologue. I don't know what it is. It's like this, or it's like an overture that leads to like, you know, a father attempting to murder his children. It's so like that is something I go back to over and over again. All right, thank you.
No problem, Ari.
Heck yeah.
You motherfucker, you. Maybe we'll do one more, and then we're gonna go watch a Criterion flick. Actually. Nathan Lane. What are you thinking? We got Nathan Lane we can go with.
How about we go with Nathan Lane?
All right. I already watched the Paul Dano one. Even though I do like me some Paul Dano. I had a feeling he was going to pick this because he's in the reboot, I believe.
Hi. It's
Hi,
Nathan.
Nathan.
I'm in the Criterion collection closet.
Nathan.
I'm not going to make any closet jokes. It's too easy.
Come on.
The most famous closet since we lost Liberace. Hey, it's great to be back in the closet. Well, let's take a look,
sweater, dude.
shall we?
That sweater. That's
the kid.
The kid.
Well, there should be one Chaplin. This is Rafifi. It's a jewel heist. My husband loves any movie about a heist.
I support
Rafifi.
that too.
It sounds like it could be a great movie, or the name of our next door neighbor's poodle.
Fester.
Rafifi. Here, Rafifi.
That boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't. Rafifi,
Coogan.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitter rice.
Keith Coogan's
a neo-realism
grandfather.
with a heaping dose of pulp.
Hey.
Oh. And we're not talking orange juice, ladies and gentlemen. Seized by customs upon entry into the United States, subject of a heated court battle, banned in cities around the world. I'm sold. Vilgot.
I've never even heard of that.
I Am Curious - Yellow is one of the most. Why do you need the dash? Is one of the most controversial films of all time. This landmark document of Swedish society during the sexual revolution has been declared both obscene and revolutionary.
That sounds like
in the back.
Movie.
Exactly.
You should all see Night of the Hunter.
Night of the Hunter.
And sadly,
the
reviews were very mixed, and he never made another film again. He felt so defeated by the reviews. That's why you shouldn't read reviews.
Yeah. Reviews don't know
Charles
what
Lawton,
about most
one of our greatest actors, and based on this, could have been one of our greatest directors.
Love and hate,
I'm sort of going with the classics, but I love this movie. Sweet Smell of Success.
He also did
some of the greatest dialogue.
Gallon of Dr. Moreau. Or
Burt Lancaster is fantastic. It's this sort of horrible Walter Winchell.
I got this, and I haven't checked into it yet, but I know it's an American
I love
classic.
This dirty town. Valley of the Dolls. I was in a TV remake of Valley of the Dolls.
Roger Ebert,
that
right?
starred Gene Simmons in the Susan Hayward role, and I played the stage manager at the Academy Awards.
By the dude that did like comedy porn.
Look, my career could change if I was this tall. I could be a leading man. Odd Man Out, directed by Carol Reed. I'm going to give this a shot.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen this. James Mason.
I'm a James Mason
one of my favorite actors. Oh, look. This. I don't think I've ever seen this all the way through. This is
Nick and
written and directed by the woman who wrote The Birdcage, the genius known as Elaine May. One of the first of 3 women directors in the Directors Guild was Ida Lupino, Elaine May, and some other woman who I'm sure was wonderful. But Elaine, and now we realize how brilliant she was. A New Leaf, The Heartbreak Kid, the original Heartbreak Kid. That's the one to see. Charles Grodin, Jeannie Berlin.
Bang.
It's genius.
Genial.
And this is Peter Falk and John Cassavetes as Small-Time Hoods.
Yeah.
The In-Laws. Yeah. It still holds up. It's still one of the funniest movies ever made. This is one I love. I always, this is another one. If I see it, I have to watch it to the end. And it's directed by the great Ernst Lubitsch. Here comes Mr. Jordan.
I want that sweater.
Yeah.
It's got like a dinosaur or something on it.
Here Comes Mr. Jordan was the movie that Heaven Can Wait is, that the other Heaven Can Wait. Oh, it's so confusing. How about this? Look at this. This looks very gay. This gives you, it is like an older man, younger man, a young saxophone player.
Story of my life.
Relationship.
He just had to teach that young man how to blow.
This film, I sort of retired from musicals, but
being there,
I went through a period where I thought if I was going to do a musical, I would like to do a musical of being there, because it would be an interesting challenge. Because he's the central character. Sondheim, I asked Sondheim if he would be interested in doing it. And he said, but the central character is a cipher. He doesn't sing. And I said, I know, but it forces other people to sing at him. I said, that's an interesting dynamic, don't you think? I just thought, for one thing, with a character like this, I wouldn't have to sing for a while. I wouldn't sing until the end of the first act. when the president of the United States would turn to me and say, what do you think, Mr. Gardner? And Chauncey says, well, it's like a garden. Ding! And you would hear the musical cue. And then he would sing this childlike song about gardening. And yet the president would see all of these, like it was a great analogy for the country. Mm-hmm. And then other people would start singing it. It would be on the news, and then children in schools would be singing this song, and then it would build to this huge, almost frightening anthem that would end the first act. That was my concept. Watch Being There. Peter Sellers, perhaps his greatest performance. That's it. I need either I have to lie down or have more coffee.
Or both, ladies and gentlemen, or both.
Good old Nathan Lane.
I love Nathan Lane. Very cool dude. You know, you got Matthew Modine. We got all these motherfuckers in here doing it. Let me see if there's a quick one. We'll do one more.
Here we are. It's like being on Supermarket Sweep, that show where you get
on
water.
Keeping with the theme that we are going.
First of all, I would pick The Blob just because.
Oh, masterpiece, dude.
Yeah. Just the theme song of The Blob is pretty good. I think Steve McQueen is in this.
That used to be my nickname back and forth.
And it's one of the first horror movies I saw as a kid. And it's just a great
I lost 2 fingers to this guy.
Glad you all picked this to be in the Criterion Collection where it'd be
one of the first Criterion.
Then we'll get a little artier and 8.5, which is, you know, Fellini to me.
Oh, there it is.
I used to take LSD and see his movies all the time. And this one was especially good because of Saladina in it. Reminded me very much of Edith Massey and Divine kind of put together. And
it's the best branch of film to buy from, because usually you're going to be happy with it.
Had flashbacks when I see this movie, but Barbara Steele, it looks so amazing. It's just such a great
outside of things.
All right, what else do we have over here? Let's see. David Lynch, I had found one of his here, and this is Twin Peaks, and because I'm, you know, Johnny Come Lately, but I'm in the middle of watching the new Twin Peaks, all 18 episodes, which is even artier and more insane, and I'm just amazed how he ever got it past the studio that made it when they showed him the script. What? Huh? You know, so I'm a big fan of David Lynch, and I was one of the first people that ever came out for Eraserhead when it first came out, because I was promoting Female Trouble, and that's when we met. There's a good picture of David and I meeting in front of Bob's Big Boy when we were young. So I'm a big fan of David's, and I love this one. I love this one, especially what maybe everybody else didn't like quite as much, but to me, it's really a good one. I haven't seen it in a long time, so it's one that I can watch.
Maybe you won't like it.
Let's see. What else did I have?
As much.
Oh, I had the Honeymoon Killers, because it's really good and it's based on a true story. And Shirley Stoller in this is so amazing. And I always loved her. She was even in Edward Albee's version of Lolita on Broadway that only played 1 week.
Oh, yeah.
And I finally got to meet her, and she was so mean to me because she said, finally you met a real man, because all the reviews, a real woman, because all the reviews said that she was like divine. And I didn't really think she was, but I liked her so much, but she was so mean to me when I finally met her that I thought she might kill me after seeing this movie. So I always think of that, and she is really great in this movie. It's based on a true crime that really did happen, and I don't know. I think she could never top it because she was in Lena Burtmiller's movies too, and but she was a great actress, and she's no longer with us, unfortunately.
Rest in peace.
Okay, that's 4. I get 5 here on Supermarket Sweep. Let's see. I picked another one. Oh, I know, of course.
He's got his flicks.
I might even be in this, but it's such a good present to give.
That's the other one.
This movie's like a fine wine.
Russ Meyer. That's the name. That's what we were thinking of earlier.
I remember I saw it in the movie theater.
The first one's kind of classy. And the second one,
you know, it was so insane, this movie. And Roger Ebert was never very kind to me in his reviews. It is the best thing he ever
did. The first one's got
much better.
Sharon.
Thumbs up and thumbs down. This is what Roger
Ebert
remembered for. And
the first one is definitely.
I don't know. It's just a movie that can't. It's almost impossible to watch it and not love it. I don't know. I'm so happy that this is. I mean, did a really beautiful job on this.
But actually, I mean, when people give Russ Meyer
Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, one of the best.
You know, the sleaziness and all that.
I don't watch movies.
He also is one of the
say a Criterion.
Few that whenever he shot women, he shot them very powerful. They were always towering over the
this
man.
time,
he also did Faster, Pussycat Kill. Yeah, I mean that's my favorite Russ Meyer one.
Yeah, he.
I gotta say right from the start, this is too
just
much
so
for
you know,
me
we'll never leave here.
I want everything, and I know it's not going to be.
We're gonna give it to Gilliam.
We're frustrated, very angry, and I'll probably look next to Brazil. Yo,
Monty Python.
Yes,
the Fisher King.
There's a complete
Don Quixote with Doc Love.
This is my revenge on all the great talents because I can do what I want.
I think so. I watched a movie. I think it was called Playground or Playhouse or something like that.
Reefy Feast. One I'll bet is a Blu-ray and one is a.
To people was really cool. What Reefy pops up? I should try to pick that up.
8.5 I have a lot of these already, so I can't touch them.
Dude,
8.5 is this is the film that is the first film that really convinced me that's what a film director. What his life
8.5 has to be a great movie.
People like Truffaut made Day for Night. This is a wonderful film, but it's a lightweight version of what
the beautiful thing about 8.5 is.
And this was before I even got into the business. Having now made films, I realize the honesty and the truth of 8.5 more and more.
Trying to figure out
one thing is interesting.
Plus, it's just like the life of a semi-successful director at that time. It's cool because he's cool as shit. People talk about how people like Blues Brothers look really cool.
Everything, the transportation later.
Marceau.
When I made Brothers Grimm,
the actor just looks fucking.
There was one of my great heroes.
And I actually that dude right there.
Wild Strawberries.
I got that. I don't even know where I got that.
I hope one day
like
to make something even a fraction as good as that. We're making Brothers Grimm. Peter Stormare, who plays main character in the film,
but
had worked.
You're a filmmaker, and you haven't
really well. In fact,
definitely
directed him in Hamlet on stage, and he said to me as we worked on Brothers Grimm, "This is like working with Ingmar." Which is funny because everybody assumes Ingmar Bergman is a very dour, serious, solemn man, and Peter said, "No, Ingmar, we laughed the whole time," and that I thought. There's moments like that when you realize, oh, maybe I can do this kind of work. I don't have to be as serious as I thought you had to be. You can have fun and direct.
Hey, listen,
and here is the film that completely changed my view of what films are about.
With Glory.
It's a Saturday matinee in the San Fernando Valley.
What's he working for a teacher?
And all the kids were thrown in there by their parents to get out of their parents' way for the afternoon. And I was about 13 years old, and this film came on, and it completely changed my life because I suddenly realized films are about justice, injustice, the rights, the wrongs of the world. They're not just jolly entertainment. And I spent my life trying to combine jolly entertainment with very serious looks at the world we live in. Brazil, the shots through the Clark's Pool, the tracking shots are all my homage to Stanley and those wonderful shots going through the trenches. First film I saw that I was aware of the camera doing something, not just a static observer, but a participant in the whole process, the dynamics of the process. So this is going to be the last film I take, and then I'll go
another film that uses a camera almost like another person. It's called Angry Men.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, another Criterion. So we're gonna cut it there before we get too wild.
I don't want to waste time.
Looking
around. The worst nightmare you could probably have is if you don't really recognize films then you look like the one idiot that didn't understand the Criterion Collection. It's a lot of pressure. Now that I'm here. I'm just putting you in the mindset like, what if I go, where is it?
And then
and I don't understand any of the good movies, and I'm asking for 27 Dresses, which is big New York movie, but not necessarily a Criterion movie. Although you never know, 20 years from now, 27 Dresses could be like, reappraised as one of the great. It'll be like Taxi Driver, like a real. When you really get to see New York, you get to see it through 27 Dresses.
Yeah.
Let's get back to business. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I don't want to take it. Mona Lisa. I'm not taking it because I've seen it too many times. But it's amazing. Bob Hoskins, The Long Good Friday, Mona Lisa.
Long Good Friday.
Bob Hoskins was a beast. Then you got Rififi, which I've seen. Everybody's seen that. And Big Deal on Madonna Street, which is really my favorite. I like that more than Rififi. I don't like to say that out loud because it shows my ignorance. But, just between you and me, I like Big Deal on Madonna Street better. Just there's all kinds of side scenes. Everybody's dancing and there's big fights in the dance hall. It's fun. My Life as a Dog. You ever see this movie?
Yeah.
This is one of the great movies of all time. If you haven't seen this movie, I promise you, it's amazing. There's no way to describe it. It's Swedish. The beginning is him with his family. His family dies, and he's trying to pick up a glass of milk at the family table. Even if you just watch the first 5 minutes, you're going to be glad you saw that movie. This, Le Petit Soldat. And I know you people are saying, oh, look at him. He's being pretentious. Le Petit Soldat. But Godard. Soldat, Godard. But anyway, I've always wanted to see this movie because I've heard amazing things about it. And I just watched the other movie about the Algerian task force, Day of the Jackal. I used to go to a video store, 1998, right at the end of video stores. And the woman that ran the video store was this old Persian lady. She didn't even own it. She was just the clerk. And she was very sick and very old. And she had the best taste in movies, better than Tarantino's Redondo. She would go, try this. And she turned me on to, Color of Paradise. Just all these movies from every country she was never wrong. And I'd be like, oh, it's going to be a slow mo. She goes, you like this? And it was unbelievable. And she passed away and the video store closed, of course. But it was like, she was one of the most amazing people. She had the best taste in movies of anyone I've ever. It was really an amazing thing. I wish I could. I hope I run into her someday in the afterlife. That's all I can say. But what I really want to talk about is Roma. Now, a lot of you people are saying Roma, it was all over the place. No one's denying that.
I kind of was.
But what a beautiful, love story to the city of Rome. Even though a lot of people said it doesn't remind them of Rome. But if Fellini says it's like Rome, who are you to argue? Fellini said, this is my Rome. And a lot of critics were like, well, we don't really listen, I'd like to make this about New York. I'd like to make my version
that I don't
of Roma, New Yorker.
What's his name?
You understand? So Something Wild. This movie, Carol Baker, she was in, her husband and her made this movie. But it's got all these shots of New York, all these New York shots. And by the way, the most brutal, it's a movie ahead of its time. She gets raped, doesn't tell anybody, and has PTSD. I don't want to give you the whole plot. But anyway, it's a very small movie. It was ahead of its time. It was, I watched it. I was like, nobody thought about this stuff until the 90s, really. What happened? This movie is like 1960 or 1959. But anyway, it's also good. Here's the thing. When you're from New York and you're old like me, you love to see old New York, like Smithereens. Who would have ever thought this was old New York? But when I watch it, I'm like, oh, my God. I miss New York, the way it was.
It's a doc on the set.
I know everyone's seen this one. I know you've all seen Naked.
Yeah.
How incredible is this movie? I can't even tell you the plot. Like, if you ask me, what's the plot? I'm like, it's hard to explain, but it's just, it's amazing. You want to kill the guy, but you love him. You know what I mean? It's nuts. Claudine, by the way, another amazing New York movie. It's like Edgecombe Avenue or something. It's all these shots of New York in 1971 just bring back my little childhood. So that's why I always love it, And that was another good one. James Earl Jones, The Garbage Man. Claudine's working in there. She's a cleaning lady and the kids, and it was really good.
Storm Alive.
Guys, thank you very much. This is, do you believe it? It's like being in a candy store.
Colin, dude, don't mention Colin. Don't mention it, dude. All's good. Whenever, whenever.
We love you still.
That's it. We got the Joker with us too, doing it big, and we just wanted to pop on for a little bit, have some fun. The Hawkman was in the building. Figured we'd pop on. Got both people here. Boombastic casted it up. Just gathering. Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter
tomorrow noon, Worcester, Massachusetts, Mechanics Hall. Special treatment is playing. We'll have a booth. Come get some autographs and pictures. Very cool. But we're gonna leave y'all. We're gonna go watch a Criterion flick, and that's your job to figure out which one. And y'all should go watch some Criterion flicks too. Know what I mean? All right. Well, we'll catch y'all on the flip side. Do we hear peace from all the way over there, Hauck?
Peace.
Peace. I guess we do. I guess.